So we have to do a review of the newspapers. We start with, which one are you starting with?
Start with the New Crusading Guide, and then I will continue with the Today newspaper.
Oh, I should start with that one.
Yes, please.
We have on the front page of the New Crusading Guide, MPP pulls stopper on Mahama over last-minute appointment. So we also have Stephen Amwa deserves ministerial post, and MPP organizers appeal to Nana Akufo-Addo to listen to their plea. I don't know whether this is lobbying or not. I don't know. You just said. Anyway, we're reviewing newspapers, so we only say whatever is there. One village, one dam, achievable. Research reveals. Parliament muses over S. Gracia for Mahama. And this is how it goes. Parliament was set for the executive, and then executive was set for Parliament. Okay. I don't know. Hey, Charlie.
Scratch my back.
One day I will want to become an MP. All my friends who are MPs, please come and train me well.
Okay, I got here the Today newspaper, no judgment debt for abrogation of last minute's contract. I don't know what that story is about, but obviously if you follow the discussion about what's it called, the last minute appointments and last minute contracts going on here and there, then you would probably understand. Danger looms as Aveno turns into refuse dump. There obviously has been a major problem when it comes to disposing of our rubbish, and the Today newspaper is reporting today that up there in Aveno there is well, danger that's looming. Step down now, Kingmakers charge Ayi Bonte, and that story is one of the stories that we brought to you earlier in the news. So yeah, I'm just going to move on. Let's see what we've got on the back page. That is an advert. Majority MPs accuse minority of delaying passage of RTI. And Roland, I find this story interesting. Now, RTI exactly has been in Parliament for quite some time.
1.5 decades.
And then all of a sudden, there's a push to get it through. And then on the minority side, which is going to tend to be the majority very soon, they are opposing it. I find it very, very interesting with what these politicians can do with our lives. But anyway, that's the story there.
I can imagine if, let's say, in 5 years or 8 years you become a politician. I think I need to what these politicians can.
Well, I don't know. I really don't know. I might be one of those politicians who might not be popular because people won't like you if you speak the truth, actually. They won't vote for you if you speak the truth. I can imagine. No judgment. That's a story there. We can move on now with the New Crusading Guide, shall we?
Yes, and we have on the front page of the Daily Statesman, my government will remove nuisance taxes, President-elect assures. And then we also have Mahama's last-minute contracts will be reviewed. That's the leader of the transition team for the incoming government, Nana Yawasafu Mafo. Okay, he was a former Minister of Finance as well. Akufo-Addo embarks on thank you tour to the BA 3 Northern Regions, and law lecturer says MPP's complaint over Mahama's new appointment valid. I'm talking about lawyer Buchi. So-called chief urges youth to support incoming MPP government.
I've got here the Daily Dispatch. The Daily Dispatch says Kweku Bako on NPP's lamentations. Says NPP can adopt Mills' strategy on single spine. That is the thing on the story on the Daily Dispatch. Listen to Epson's file on. Okay, right. When you flip over, you see a story. You see a pink sheet of 2016 presidential elections in the Central Region. They've got 6 pink sheets from the Central Region. That is the Daily Dispatch. SNITS launches self-service biometric terminal, and it goes on and on. I saw an interesting story somewhere here. There's if you like, an op-ed from Haruna Atta Harun Atta, who wrote a letter about tribalism in the NPP not so long ago. I mean, somewhere during the campaign seasons. And then there's an interesting bit here. I don't know why it's here, but this is a story about Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan. It will be an interesting read to find out who this man really is. So that is the Daily Dispatch. Roland, what else do you have?
Now we have a front page of the Daily Graphic. Time to reconcile. Religious leaders urge Ghanaians. You have a picture there of the Most Reverend Philip Name, president of the Ghana Catholic Bishops Conference. I hope I pronounced the name right. Not too sure about the name though. I should get used to it. Reverend Dr. Kwabno Puni Frempong is the General Secretary of the Christian Council of Ghana, most of the time honoring our calls for interviews in the studio. And President-elect warns would-be appointees. Temawa refinery to refine high volumes of aviation fuel. Back page, we have World Vision presents medical equipment to 3 districts. And that's on the back page of the...
Okay.
That's on the back page of the Daily.
This is the Daily Guide. Nana confirms Alan as minister. And right at the top, it says RTI bill in limbo. We just spoke about that story not so long ago, and I've got NDC cracks deepen, and it comes with a picture of former President Jerry Rawlings. NDC chief bestowed. I'm pretty sure it is referring to Nebi Aibonte there. That comes the story about Nana confirms Alan comes with a picture of Alan Chemating, Nana Danko Akufo-Addo at yesterday's meeting with Enterprise actors. And yeah, the story is right there when you open the newspaper. It goes on and on. FDA warns over unwholesome goods. And if you follow the show yesterday, we touched on this. We touched on a bit of this. We got an FDA representative in studio to talk about this. So FDA is warning about unwholesome goods. So as we go to the market, to go to the malls, wherever it is you want to go to get the items that you need for Christmas, you should be wary of these things. Look out for unwholesome goods. Check the date. He says to check the date. And one thing that he said yesterday, Mr. Esel said yesterday, was that you need to check especially rice, because you got people who are putting cheap, or no, I don't know if it's cheap or like substandard rice in
bags?
In different bags, yes. So there's rebagging going on, and so you need to check when you're buying stuff like rice, because we eat a lot of rice.
When the rice is expired, how does it taste?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
With the BIO, I'm sorry. You eat some expired rice.
So, well, whatever. Just be careful. Just be a bit more particular about what you buy and where you buy it. I think those things are very important.
Did you watch what?
Well, I've gone. What do you have?
For eaters of expired rice like Gifty and myself. Trouble for us. The Ghanaian Times. I will stop nuisance taxes. President-elect assures of business-friendly policies. We have RTI bill faces fresh challenge. Police kill 2 robbers in gun battle, and a war launched against crime during Christmas. We have the police story. The flags for judges inaugurated. It's got in the back page of the Ghanaian Times.
So the BNFT, which will be our final newspaper, is reporting the ex gratia. What's happening in Parliament yesterday, like Roland was saying. So ex gratia on the cards as 6th Parliament draws to close. That story is on page 3. ADB share price soars. TechWeb misses mark by 2%. Election year deficit blues. Let's see. After trying so hard to hem in election year budget overruns, Finance Minister said TechWeb has conceded that this year's projected budget deficit of 5.1% could be breached by about 2%. That's what the story is saying, whatever that means anyway. But yeah, and then the story goes on and on. Incoming government gives cocoa sector chance of fresh start. And what do we have on the back page? Executive Women Network supports SOS with 100,000 Ghana cedis. Well done to them. Eagle. Okay, that's it for the BNFT. Grab yourself a copy and find out the details of all those stories, would you?
So those are the stories we have. Hard copies. Now we have to go soft. We're going to the online portals.
Okay.
So Gifty, you start with Major Online.
Fantastic. We've got a picture of Ni Ayubonte. Is it a bow? His bow down his head? I don't know.
It was during the visit of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to a meeting with the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs, and he was seated behind. I think the cameras were.
Okay.
It seemed to be a period when he bowed, and the captions at the time was that he was hiding.
I think he didn't want to be captured. Well, basic kingmakers direct Ni Ayubonte to step down in 7 days, or that's the ultimatum. Obviously, he vowed to willingly step down if the incumbent President John Mahama loses the election, and we already brought you that story, so you're pretty much aware of it. Batidam punches holes in Akufo-Addo's proposed independent prosecutor's office, and Batidam has been an advisor on corruption to the current administration, and he's the chairperson of the AU Advisory Board on Corruption. Says plans by the incoming government to establish an independent prosecutor's office may clash with the constitution. Okay, next story. Shall we have the next story? Roland, where to go?
4 Nigerians held for possessing counterfeit drugs. Why don't we say 4 men or something? Why do we have to say? Anyway, the Food and Drugs Board Authority.
Not Nigerians.
Oh, Nigerians.
Yeah.
4 Nigerians.
But it's important to mention where they're from.
Right.
Of course.
The Food and Drugs Authority has intercepted some counterfeit drugs that were being transported from Niger to Kwando in the Volta region.
Really? Why would they do that? Okay, next story. Shall we have the next story, please? Are the Mahama operatives trying to force Akufo-Addo to jail them? He may be right. Okay, that sounds like an opinion. Okay, next story will be your promises for agro sector achievable, laudable. PFAG urges incoming government. Hopefully this will continue to the end and we'll see some real deliverables. Residents of China's capital getting out of town to escape smog. Wow, that must be a very... And this morning, Bernice was talking about the Harmattan. I'm not sure you were there talking about Harmattan because she was worried that we're not seeing Harmattan yet. And I said we exported
we're not seeing the signs.
Yeah.
I think when you go outskirts Accra, you have you feel some signs, but
I see.
But it's not as if it's a full blown.
I thought we've exported Harmattan. Nukes comments government over increment of national service allowance. The National Union of Ghana Students lauding government for increasing the monthly allowance of national service personnel from 350 cedis to 559. Interesting. Nukes. I remember my days with nukes. Anyway, bad manners of health workers, major worry of patients. That is from a survey. Disrespect and other related. Have you been to the hospital with, and have you been given an attitude by a nurse, really?
Yes.
You have?
I think at some point, yes. I've experienced that. But people have a bad day, and sometimes you don't expect everybody to behave the same.
Yeah, well, you're talking
because
about
even you go to a banking hall, people give you a bad attitude.
Yeah, but this is your profession, and even the way someone smiles at you could, help deal with your recovery process, and so it's important because nurses are supposed to be not your regular people who.
Yep.
Anyway, so that is this for myjoyonline.com. That story, but Batidam, we've already said that. They've got CTFM, Roland.
So we have gas shortfall won't result in Dumso, and that's a picture there of the Deputy Prime Minister. We're committed to passing the RTI bill, according to the minority.
Okay, we see how that goes. WAEC hosts result of 668 November-December WASSCE candidate and consider Upper East region in your cabinet group. So who's telling that to Nana Akufo-Addo? Okay. Oh, there's a group that's telling Nana Akufo-Addo to consider the Upper East region in his, whilst he does his selection, for governance.
Pressure.
Okay. The pressure day.
Day plenty.
Yeah. Okay, so finally, BBC.
So we have the Africa page.
And you see, this is interesting. The things we talked about yesterday are coming up today in the newspapers. Yesterday we spoke about buying unwholesome products on the market. We brought in the FDA, and we saw that story today. And just yesterday we were talking about rice, plastic rice, and they said to rubbish that. I mean, they rubbished it. They said, no, we shouldn't.
Who said? The FDA?
Yeah, the FDA, both the FDA and Kofi Kapito. I mean, for them, it sounded like a non-starter, you know. And then they said the videos going around don't even have faces. And I said, well, I've seen some faces. And there we go. Plastic rice seized in Nigeria. Nigeria confiscates 2.5 tons of plastic rice. Now listen,
it's not as if that they're made of plastic. Only that they feel like plastic.
They feel like plastic.
And
really?
And I think they have a lot of artificial additives to them. That's why.
Well, but it's not.
But can we click on the story? Because we've seen those videos too.
Okay, well, let's have a look. Smuggled into the country from China. So the story says, Nigeria, so Lagos Customs Chief Haruna Mahmudu said the fake rice was intended to be sold in markets during the festive season. He said the rice was very sticky after it was boiled, and only God knows what could have happened if people ate it. It is not clear where the seized sacks came from, but rice made from plastic pellets was found in China last year. Rice is the most popular staple. Yes, we know that. BBC's Peter Koche, and shout outs to Peter Koche, and one of my friends at the BBC. He says it is the only foodstuff that crosses cultural and ethnic lines across the country. And Africa Live, you know, this Africa Live page is somehow managed by, not like managed, but Adelaide Arthur, our own Adelaide Arthur, who is doing her internship at the BBC. She does a lot of things for this particular portal. Just mentioning. So basically, that rice was funny when it was cooked. That's what the story is saying. It's funny when it was cooked. And a lot of concerns have been raised about that rice. We know the proximity between Nigeria and Ghana, and how easy it is for such things to come over if it is there indeed. I'm talking about this plastic rice. But anyway.
Plastic.
Fist fight breaks out in Kenya's parliament. Oh, in Kenya too. Last time we saw a video making rounds on social media was in Turkey. Now we're seeing one here in
we've
Kenya.
had brawls in, is it the Japanese parliament before and all that? Yeah.
So a parliament session in Kenya descended into chaos with rival MPs trading punches. This one is not verbal punch, this one be physical punch bar. Nigeria whistleblowers to get share of loot. Ethiopia frees 9,800, and Gambia president hits out at mediators. Yesterday we heard him say that who are the ECOWAS mediators to tell him to get out of his own country? Who are they? He's actually questioning their locus for telling him to get out of his country. He said Gambia has been an independent country for 22 years and all of that. So that's it for BBC Online.
All right, so now wait for the various reviews, online portals, and we have to take a break. When we come back, we'll have sports, and we have a lot more updates from the world of the Champions League, and we have other sporting stories all for your comfort.
Please stay with us.